Backstitch Introduction and Types. At the end of this class, you will be able to identify a backstitch from its distinctive features, list the two types of backstitches with its characteristic features. What is a backstitch? The backstitch is a simple basic hand sewing stitch. It is a permanent stitch. This is what the finished backstitch looks like. Backstitch is a hand stitch in which individual stitches are made backwards to the general direction of sewing. Backstitch is generally executed from right to left, unless you are left-handed. The stitches are worked in a 2 steps forward, 1 step back fashion. Neatly worked in a straight line, this stitch resembles machine stitching. This is what the wrong side of the backstitch looks like. If you see on the wrong side of the fabric, the threads from the backstitch overlap, forming a solid line of stitching which gives it added strength. No wonder the backstitch is known to be one of the strongest among the hand stitches. Apart from being a strong stitch, it also has some elasticity to it. Types of backstitch. There are 2 types of backstitch: even backstitch, half backstitch. 1. Even backstitch. When the stitch is worked out evenly with short stitches, it is even backstitch. 2. Half backstitch. When the space between the stitches is longer than the thread, it is called the half backstitch. The half backstitch is faster to make than the even backstitch. It also needs lesser thread. The half backstitch needs only 2 times the thread of the distance that you want to sew, as compared to the even backstitch, which needs 3 times the thread for the same distance. With that, we come to the end of this class. Before we leave, let's recall what you have learnt in this class. Backstitch is a hand stitch in which individual stitches are made backwards to the general direction of sewing. The stitches are worked in a 2 steps forward, 1 step back fashion. There are 2 types of backstitches. When the stitch is worked evenly with short stitches, it is even backstitch. When the space between the stitches is longer than the stitch, it is called half backstitch. Take our next class to learn about even backstitch and its applications.